I'm the chic, I'm the taste. I'm a larger than life with just a hint of lace. President Reagan, Thatcher, Jazzercise, lip gloss. Ooh, you think you know fashion? Well, fashion's a stranger. You think fashion's your friend, my friend. Fashion is danger.
Okay, so fuck yes. Welcome out to the Hype with me. Your host, as always, Brian Dressel. With me, as always, is Ryan James.
Yes, I am.
And CHEWIE Darso.
Hello.
John cannot be here today because reasons.
Because he had to go be a farmer.
He's growing corn.
Whenever you say farmer, all I think is we are farmers. They're not a sponsor of this show, so I'm not going to finish this thing. Okay, so we'll do a quick hello to Maggie Levin. Hi.
Hi.
You haven't been on since Pretty in Pink, right?
Yeah.
That was the last one?
And since then, the free world has collapsed, so it's exciting to see you guys.
Yeah. We're all still alive.
Except John.
Yeah, John died in the wake.
Oh, no.
Sorry, John.
But no, so super
John's
happy
working
to
on
be
the
here.
wall.
We're happy to have you. What plugs do you have? What do you have going on in your life? I know last time you were here, you were shooting something.
Yeah.
And that thing, I assume, is shot now.
Oh, goodness. What was I shooting then?
You were shooting, it was called Pulse at the time.
Oh, yeah. It is not called Pulse anymore.
Brian was telling me about all those similarities. I'm like, oh my God, it's like Kennedy and Lincoln.
Yeah. It changed. It's called Vein 360. It is actually at Key West Film Festival this weekend.
Ooh, very exciting.
And we have a series in development based around it, which is cool.
Is it also going to be VR?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's a 360 vampire thing. But yeah, I'm actually shooting another VR piece on Monday with Anna Akana, who is like a YouTube actress gal. She's awesome.
I've worked with her.
Yeah, she's spectacular.
She's really cool.
Yeah.
Did I meet her? I met her, right?
Yeah.
She was really nice.
Yeah,
She gave us baggies full of candies.
That's right, yes.
Yeah.
See, she's just awesome. So yeah, I have that going on, and then there's been a lot of good stuff. Professionally, this has been an incredible year, and I feel like shit saying that out loud because it's been such a garbage
It's not
fire
just
for
you.
everything else.
2015 personally was atrocious for Brian and I. 2016 personally has been good.
Personally, it's been great.
The world, no.
Ooh, rough year for the world.
Yeah.
Great year for us. Hooray!
Yeah.
Let's
I
wait till
know.
2017. People are like making art again.
Yeah, that'll
Protest
be nice.
art.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it'll be cool.
And
Maybe
then,
anti-flag
and then
will come
Trump
back.
will say that this place needs to be a safe zone and you shouldn't be calling people out on things.
Right.
Theater is safe.
I'm honestly thinking about making like some kind of gay erotica with like a Mike Pence lookalike and some sort of Latino man. I
Ooh.
think that might be
Okay.
my protest art.
That's good.
I see no reason not to.
We here at this space we record in, we have ties to Evan Stone, the
Okay.
porn star.
Fantastic.
He's very excited Trump is elected because he looks kind of like Trump when he puts on a wig, and he's been doing parody porns. It's amazing.
I watched him get pegged
By Hillary Clinton.
by Hillary Clinton. Yep. That was a hell of a video.
I would like to combine Pence with penis and repentance and just
Oh
do
my God.
penance.
I saw a meme the other day. It was like, okay, God, you have what kind of messages for us? The world's going to end with trumpets? No, Trump Pence. Trumpets. Okay,
They'll
so we'll
get
watch
it.
out for trumpets. Got it.
That's pretty good.
Amazing.
Okay, so really quick for us, you can find us on Facebook at After the Hype. You can find us on Twitter, ATH_podcast. Everywhere else online, ATH Podcast. You can email us at athpodcast@gmail.com. And you can find us maybe now, but probably not, on our website, athpod.com. If it's not now, it will be soon. I'm jumping. We're 2 weeks in the past right now. You're listening to us in the future. So
you have to
Yeah.
record a
Yeah.
solo edit to this, like Brian here. I'm in my bedroom fixing up my own podcast. Our website's not out
Yeah,
yet.
it's not out yet. Sorry, guys. I thought it might be. There's a chance. We'll see.
Bookmark it now, athpod.com. It's under construction. John's picture's on it.
Yeah, you can see John's picture, and he's not here to say, no, it's not me, because we all know it was him.
Right.
It is a very funny picture of John working on it.
I know.
It is.
Awesome.
Okay, so let's do a quick Where Have You Been Doing? Ryan, do you want to go first? You look like
Sure.
you have something locked
I
and
do,
loaded.
actually, because I looked it up because I knew we had two. I wanted to talk about the new Trailer Park Boys. It just hit Netflix in October.
I've never watched an episode.
Of any Trailer Park
Nope,
Boys?
not a
So
one.
it started as like this mockumentary of a bunch of Canadians on a trailer park, and they loved getting drunk and stoned and like going on misadventures trying to get rich, pretty much. And it was hilarious. And they're coming up on 11 seasons, I think, of the actual show. But then what has happened is these actors who wrote, directed, produced this whole thing kind of like took on these characters, and they do live shows as these characters, Ricky, Bubbles, and Julian. And they just like come out on stage and in full wardrobe and makeup, and they pretend to be these characters from the show Trailer Park Boys. It's as if, Ricky Gervais toured as David Brent, kind of.
Oh, okay, I got
So
you.
like
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
in character, and they pretend like Trailer Park Boys was an actual documentary about them, and then they go do these live shows, and they have something called SwearNet. I think it's their company that they produce all this stuff through. So they just put out something online, on Netflix called Trailer Park Boys Out of the Park Europe, and it's 8 or 10 episodes where they. The Trailer Park Boys get contacted, and they want to send them on a European vacation. The SwearNet guys, the producers of their documentary, and they get there and they find out that it's kind of this big hoax where they have to actually go through all these steps and like challenges to get money to buy like weed and booze in Europe. And they're like, oh fuck, where are we gonna get liquor? And then they have to make all these decisions like, oh, we only completed one of the challenges, so we have to pick food or liquor today. And it's like they tour Europe, and there's this guy who plays their bus driver and like gives them all these weird scavenger hunt tasks, and it actually plays out pretty funny. Their live shows are kind of iffy, like they record them all for Netflix, and you can watch some of their live tour stuff, and it's all like, okay, I see what they're doing, but it's not as good as the actual show. And this actually kind of lives up to the quality of the actual seasons of Trailer Park Boys.
So you'd solidly recommend watching the show if I've never seen an episode.
Definitely. Well, start with the actual show.
Yeah.
Or start with the first movie, Trailer Park Boys, the movie. Because
Okay.
that was designed to get fans into it if they haven't seen the show before.
Okay, I gotcha.
And then after you kind of go through and you can jump in wherever. Like season 2 or 3 is a great place to jump in because season 1 was pretty rough. And then once you get used to the characters, you can kind of jump around and watch funny episodes, and they have celebrities on pretty frequently, and it's pretty good. It's
Awesome.
a really funny show.
Cool. Maggie, what about you? What have you been doing?
I've been watching a fuckload of Chef's Table.
Okay.
I love it. The latest season, the French season of Chef's Table is, I would consider myself like a hyper emotional person, but not like weeping over food kind of person. And now apparently I'm a weeping over food person. It's so beautiful. It's so well shot, and it's constructed in a way that's like profoundly moving. So yeah, highly recommend Chef's Table, and also Dirk Gently on BBC America.
I've seen the first episode. That was pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know if this is official yet, but I've heard that it's been renewed. And it's really good. It's really funny. Stars Elijah Wood and this guy, Samuel Barnett, who's awesome as Dirk Gently. It's so Douglas Adams-y and lovely and funny and bizarre.
I was really turned off when I read the first review that said it's hipster Sherlock Holmes, and I was like,
no.
I don't really want to watch that. It sounds kind of terrible, but I gave it a shot anyways because I like the people involved. I really
Yeah.
like Max Landis, and I like Elijah Wood, Douglas Adams, and I was like, all right,
Yeah.
I'll give it a shot. And it's like I can see why they said that because it's a really easy criticism to make, but it's not that at all.
Yeah, no. It's a really special and crazy. If you've read Douglas Adams before, it's not an exact replica of that series of books, but it's so much in the spirit of that writing. You can just feel the goofy irreverence of it, and it's lovely. I really, really recommend it.
I gotta watch it at some point.
It's fun.
You'll like it. It's
Well, I like
it's hard
Douglas
not to
Adams.
like. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a very, very well made show. Okay, so for me, I will say this is a weird one, but I never saw it, and I always meant to, and I don't know why. I watched Jackass 3.
Interesting.
That's a good one though.
I mean, when I was in high school, or like I guess mostly high school, when Jackass was like at the top of its game, I watched it all the time. I'm like, this is the funniest shit ever, and then I go back to it as an adult, and I'm like, that's kind of dumb. But I got kind of bored one night. I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna turn it on and just see what did I miss, because I had seen the first two, and then by the time the third one came out, I didn't care anymore. And I watched it, and it's still pretty funny. Like, it's not a well-made movie by any means, but I like kind of how on the nose they are about they're too old for this now, and they do it like mixed in with these interviews where it's like, I don't know why we really did this other than make money, but all we do is hurt each other the entire time we're filming it. And while they're doing the interviews about talking how they shouldn't have done it, they're getting like their chairs kicked out from under
Right.
them and things thrown at them. I'm like, all right, I'll just watch these idiots hurt themselves for an hour and a half and be mildly entertained. What about you, Chew? What have you been doing?
Well, I have not been able to keep up on all my normal shows, which is not very common for me. Normally, I'm like all up in like 5-6 different shows, always caught up. The only show that I'm actually caught up on right now is not doing that great. Once Upon a Time. Used to really, really love that show, and now it's kind of like when I watched Heroes Season 3 going, maybe again. Maybe it'll get good again. But they've totally backtracked. Like, we so many things. It's on Season 5, I think, right now.
Wow.
And
How?
because they do a lot of good things, but for some reason now I guess they're like, we got to get back to our roots, which is them fighting the evil queen. And now it's like they're fighting two, because you guys don't care.
There's
'cause you
more
don't
than
watch
one evil queen at this
yeah,
point.
because
Yeah.
Regina,
Because why not?
Regina, the girl that was originally the evil queen, did this separation thing because they introduced Jekyll and Hyde. So then she discovered that she could separate her good side from her bad side, and she's like, I need to get rid of the evil side of me forever because I definitely want to be a hero now. So then she does that, and then she finds out that she can't actually kill the evil queen because it is still part of her, even though it's not inside of her anymore. So now they just have the problem that they're fighting the evil queen, and she doesn't have any good left in her because Regina's all the good things. And the thing is that
Whoa.
they had something good going on when they had Jekyll and Hyde. When they were doing the Jekyll and Hyde theme, the guy who was playing Dr. Jekyll was Sam Witwer, who's a great actor.
Oh, he's wonderful.
Yes, and he was doing an amazing job playing Dr. Jekyll.
He's from Being Human.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was super excited with him to be in the show. And then it turns out that he was just a side note. He was only in like 4 or 5 episodes. And then they killed him. And then I was just like,
Spoilers.
God damn you. Now we just have the evil queen. And I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to today. Everyone's excited for today's movie, right?
Yay.
I believe when I asked Maggie to be on, she said that movie's fucking terrible. But you did say it was beautiful, which you're not wrong.
Oh, yeah. No, it's stunning.
That's
That's why I get so angry about it, is because it's so beautifully made.
oh man, it is something to look at,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Which
And
might-
something to look away from sometimes too.
absolutely.
Sure.
So
Unless you're really into necrophilia.
I have a lot of
Let's
things
jump
to
right
say.
in.
oh no, we're gonna hold off on the necrophilia as much as we can. So the interesting thing about this movie, and I mean that wholeheartedly, it's one of the only movies that I can find on Metacritic that has both 100 and a 0. Like, this movie is a divide, like starkly so.
This movie is America. Sorry.
Oh, that's 2 on the nose. But yeah, so it is. The reviews are all over the place, but it ends at like a 51. So I mean, it is a love it or hate it movie, which we'll get into that as well. And then money wise, I think I read that it cost something like 7 to 10 million, ended up making around it. Metacritic is, or Box Office Mojo is just wrong. It says it made $1 million. I know it made, I think, around 5 between this and international audience, but it still did not make its money back, which I know was the big thing.
That's
But
actually, with such a low budget, that's really sad.
It is, but I don't think Amazon cares because they were the major people behind this, and they really wanted it for their streaming service, but they put it in theaters anyways. Kind of like Beasts of No Nation
yes.
and the other Netflix movie that came out somewhat recently.
Oh, the one with Paul Rudd.
Yes,
forgot
yeah,
the
same thing, where they did like a very limited theater thing, and they really just wanted it more for streaming than anything else. And I think that's what Neon Demon was supposed to be too, but they had other studios involved, so they had to put it as a bigger push to theaters. That's everything I know about that. So let's move on to the breakdown. Maggie, you excited for this?
Oh, man. I didn't have enough coffee, but I'm going to try.
All right, go!
A beautiful underage girl arrives in Los Angeles with dreams of being a supermodel. She ascends to great heights very quickly, and the people around her immediately take notice that she's something very special. This interpretation of her being very special includes a lot of jealousy. Along the way of her adventure towards being the world's greatest supermodel, she encounters a wildcat. Keanu Reeves is her landlord and sticks a knife down her throat. There's also some necrophilia, and it ends in cannibalism.
That's pretty good.
Thanks.
So I'm not sure if we had this last time you're on, but if you succeed in the 30-second breakdown, you get to make fun of me. So you get one free shot.
Oh no.
And nobody ever takes it, which I really appreciate.
I don't know you well enough to make fun of you.
Let me pinch hit.
You seem like a very nice person.
Thank you.
Brian, you're not wearing enough glitter.
Fair point.
Yeah, you need to have
Here's a
chart.
pre-approved list of insults.
It's okay. I'll make up for it by insulting the movie heavily.
That's fine. I'll take Ryan's insult if I don't have enough glitter on, which is true. I should have done a glitter beard for this episode. It really would have worked out. But I have a Thanksgiving party after this that would not have appreciated the glitter beard.
I don't know. I think a good glitter beard is welcome everywhere.
That's true. I'm doing a pub crawl in December. That's all through Boys Town. I might do it.
Yeah.
This time.
You should do like Christmas like green.
Yeah. Have a few like ornaments hanging off of it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just go full tilt. Okay, so let's get started on I think the best place to start for this movie is really with the hype, as we do for many of these things. Because the main reason why I even picked this movie for today was because of how hyped it was. I had a lot of friends who said it was the best movie of the year. I didn't have any friends until Maggie who said it was horrible. And that really threw me off my game because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm trying to pick some good movies. We're going to do some good stuff. And I picked that one based on a bunch of recommendations. And I'm like, hey, Maggie, you want me to do this episode? Oh yeah, that was terrible. I'm like, it was what? So I went into this movie I tried really hard to give it like a fair chance. Like I'm sitting next to CHEWIE, who's making fun of it from frame one. And I'm just trying not to engage. I'm just like ignoring her. I'm like, no.
One, but I was very annoyed at how she was trying to remove the blood.
Yeah. So that's okay. So sorry, not frame one, but within the first 5 minutes when she's trying to wipe the blood off her, she was like, that's not how you do that. This movie's terrible. And I'm like, no, I'm going to give it a chance. And I'd say by 2/3 in, I literally stood up, paced around my room screaming, I hate it.
Which part? I was curious. I was watching and I was like kind of trying to watch the timeline to figure out what set you off to get up and
I
start
think
pacing.
I think it was a snowball effect. After a while, it got to another moment of them talking. And I don't want to say having a conversation because nobody has a conversation this entire fucking movie.
No.
Right.
They just say lines to an empty room and then somebody else will say lines near them and they might be related, but probably not.
That's a very accurate assessment. I mean, I think, it's an art film for sure. And it is beautiful to look at.
Undeniably, yes.
The story, I mean, I think it's just a metaphor stacked on top of a douchey metaphor, stacked on top of a shitty metaphor, which all sort of crumbles down to I can't look at that film and go, okay, this is... It just makes me go, did he just make this so that he could bang a bunch of hot girls?
Well, that's when I was watching it, I was just like, this is male gaze the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
And you can't comment on exploitation while you're in the middle of doing it.
Yeah, like that's that's the best thing to say about it. Because if this movie had done something where what I thought based on if I had seen the trailer, I watched it afterwards. If I had seen that, and what I thought this movie would what that kind of made me think was it's going to be that, where they're going to comment on exploitation and that sort of stuff, instead of just doing it, which is what this one more does. If they'd done something to the effect of when they do like the neon crazy dance modeling stuff, and that was all those scenes, and then every other scene was lit like a normal day,
right?
Then you could have done like a little bit of like juxtaposition of like this is model life and this is real life, but they don't really ever do that.
No.
So there is no comment. It's just, this is what it is.
Yeah.
And it's funny for somebody who lives in LA and makes so many movies about LA, this movie talks about LA as if he's never been here.
Right. Well, I think he's obsessed with here. That's very apparent. But sorry, you were going to say.
I feel like he was trying to make a comment about how women treat each other and how they become obsessive. But instead of like making an actual comment about it, he was glorifying it in a way. Like, I don't know how to describe it better. Like, I didn't feel like we were learning a lesson from this. I think we were just learning, this is what a guy thinks women do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Am I the only one who drew comparisons to American Psycho?
No, I totally right there
I
with
still
you.
haven't actually seen American Psycho.
Because it was like in the same way that, this is like some weird fucked up version of modeling American Psycho, some weird fucked up version of what businessmen are like in their conversations. And
Yeah,
like,
but the difference is that American Psycho does a good job making a commentary on that sort of thing, and this movie feels like it misses the mark. Like he's trying so hard to be David Lynch and like.
We
I
got
can't even see like the Bret Easton Ellis-ness of it. What
absolutely.
Glamorama would be if they made a movie out of that. It's in the same ballpark, but it's not.
they missed the mark. I think Brian hit it. Yeah.
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 I mean, you can say what you want for well intentions, and like there's clearly a message that was wanted to come across here, but it got lost in what Maggie said of like, hot chicks on set. Did you see them? They're really hot, and they're right over there.
Yeah.
Cool. And that's what it felt like to me throughout most of the movie. Was just like it felt like a dude bro, like, yeah, I'm gonna make a movie about hot chicks.
Yeah. I think also, there were just so many scenes that I was like, this is just provocative for the sake. It's just shocking for shock's sake. Does she need to fuck a dead body? Like, do we need to have her listen to statutory rape going on next door for like 5 whole minutes?
Yeah, like the dead body scene. We had Danielle Dutton on last week, and she told us after we got done recording because she actually really likes this movie.
Interesting.
And she based it based on going, because she's an actress. She's been to many auditions. She's like, well, that's kind of what a lot of women are like. And she liked it because it's beautiful, which I can't say anything bad about that. We'll get into the look of the movie later. But the corpse scene in particular draws up such like ire in me because it's like it's a way too far reaching of a scene. Like I get it that she just got shot down by the beacon of beauty, and it's really upsetting. So she goes after the first thing she sees, which is a naked body. Okay, I get that. She's vulnerable.
The same hair.
Yeah, so vulnerable, so wanting to fuck her that she got all this in her body and it didn't work. So then I'm gonna fuck this other thing.
Yeah,
it gets me going.
There's a lot that's really it makes you mad. It's sort of built to make you mad. I mean, people supposedly walked. I don't know. I forget if it was Sundance or where that it premiered. It might have been Sundance. People like left the theater.
I know it got. I know his last movie got booed at Cannes. I'm not sure if this one did.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna look this up.
It says Jenna Malone and the necrophilia that stunned Cannes. So probably.
Okay,
it's probably
Cannes.
Cannes,
Yeah. I also kind of get the sense, and this is based on nothing, but I wonder if those girls in that movie felt like they were going to be a part of something really like profound and moving.
Oh, I'm sure they talked about it.
I mean, there's no way that especially with this director, and I never saw Only God Forgives or whatever the fuck that's called, but like he makes movies that have like a certain like draw to them. Like people are just inexplicably drawn to because he does such a good job crafting the look of the movie that you look at it it's like that movie looks important. It looks like something I want to see.
Yeah.
So I could see them, especially say they'd skip that one like I did, and they'd only seen Drive. It's like, okay, this guy can tell a really good story with like next to nothing in it, and it really captures and motivates, and it's great.
Yeah.
And he does that again here, but I don't know what it was in Drive that made it work. That
I think
didn't
Ryan
work here.
Gosling was just better at being able to deliver that type of dialogue.
Yeah, well, and I don't know. I think here, however it was directed, because a lot of those scenes are not just single-person scenes, you can just drive a fleet of trucks through every line. It's like you were saying.
Yeah.
It's like they don't seem like they're in the room together.
Yeah, it's so stilted and weird, and what worked in Drive does not work here.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the where I decided that I hated the dialogue was the bathroom scene at the club. When
The lipstick shit.
the lipstick shit.
Oh, is that with
and-
the who are you fucking part?
Yeah, like, who are you fucking? Do you fuck guys? And then she goes, yeah, all the time. It's like, that's how you deliver that line? That's how you're all talking? This whole movie.
Yeah.
That's where it came across like American Psycho to me. It's like
Yeah.
none of the lines are real. None of their conversations are real. And they're supposed to be over dramatically fake.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like other movies like American Psycho have done that exact idea better.
Sure.
Yeah.
I thought that plastic surgery girl, whose name I totally forget, did okay. Everybody else was having a rough time.
Yeah, it's
the
a-
whole time.
It's
She's the only one whose character kind of had a... Well, no, the Ellie Fanny's character has an arc, but the plastic surgery girl was more interesting.
Yeah.
she was probably, I would say, either her or Jenna Malone are the most interesting people in the movie, and
Yeah.
they really don't have that big of a part. But as to what you're saying, like it's a tough, like why I think the the plastic surgery girl, we're all forgetting her name now, did the best job. Is like he demands like a certain style of acting. It's kind of like a Paul Verhoeven thing, where either you can do it and you fit in the movie great, or you can't and you stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
And sadly, I think this time he was like 9 out of 10 can't fit his style of acting.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and that's ultimately not a failure of the actor. It's a failure of the director for not making it clear how you're supposed to perform this shtick.
Yeah, because like you have like Keanu Reeves, who's proven time and time again that if you give him the right part, he can do it.
Yeah.
If you don't, he sticks out like a horrible sore thumb, and it's just like, what the fuck is that guy doing?
Yeah.
Here you go. Have him be a pimp for underage girls. Turns out Keanu Reeves can't play that part.
Right.
I thought he did all right.
He did all right, and he's not a bad actor. He's never going to do terrible, but either he's going to be great or just. And this was definitely.
I really believed him when he was saying wider.
He was mumbling wider.
Gigi is the name of the character, the plastic
yes.
surgery character played by Bella Heathcote.
I don't know where I want to move into this thing. Like it's such a movie that I can just like rant and rave and bitch about.
Sure.
In just like no coherent way, because that's the way the movie is told to us. But I feel like I need to give it a bit of a fair shake. Like what do you guys think beyond just the look of the film? Is there anything in here that actually worked that like would, if done differently, you would enjoy in the movie, like story wise, characters, anything?
For me, I was very torn on when I liked the symbolism moments and when I hated the symbolism moments.
Mm-hmm.
What about the ones you liked?
The one I liked, even though it was frustrating to watch, I totally understand what he was doing. When she got picked to close the show, and when she's walking down the runway and everything's black around her, and then she gets to the end and she starts making out with mirrors
Triangles.
of herself. Like, I understand. So this you are trying to visualize her character arc. You're trying to visualize her ego growing. Like, I understand what you're trying to do. Visually, it's good and bad at the same time.
Yeah.
Because, all the triangles represent vaginas. Okay, get it. There's 3 triangles at a bunch of times to represent the 3 villains, and she's in the middle, kind of, sort of thing.
Oh,
I think.
God, I didn't even put any of that
That's
together.
where I was getting. Like, I read a lot of stuff that involves symbolism, so I can try to pick up on it. So triangles are vaginas. There's 3 triangles making up this larger triangle, so it's it's all of them together. And so then there's triangles of her in a prism in the end of making out with herself. And yeah, so it's all very interesting.
Yeah.
And it can be really great high art, depending on how you use it. And I don't know how he could have fixed it, because it could have been good. I fully believe it could have been good, but there's just something, I don't know, in the pacing, or like we were talking about the acting, just the delivery doesn't work in this movie for a lot of, I mean, it does work for some people. But that's kind of high art in general. Some people will hate it and some other people will love it. And that's kind of the beauty within the monster.
Sure.
The demon?
Yeah.
I thought that the casting scene was actually very good. The runway casting scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's one place where all of the sort of tableaus and the like the symmetry, that scene is very washed out, and everybody's in all of these nude, all basically in their underwear in a white room, and it worked really well. The scene was constructed in a way that made sense, which a lot of the scenes just don't make any sense. I thought that was really cool, and the music is fucking great.
Yep.
Yeah. In fact, there are some areas where if it weren't for the music, it would be unwatchable.
Of course.
I did like that scene because the way they were all portrayed at the very beginning, because they all looked like mannequins.
Yeah.
They were all sitting like mannequins, and then you had the one other girl just staring at Ellie Fanning. And they did something with the eyes in this movie, I noticed, where a lot of times they always looked, depending on who was looking at who when, they were either super dilated or super not.
Interesting.
And they did a very good job of making the 2 other blonde ladies have like these predatory eyes. Like, I definitely picked up on that they had done something to their eyes to make them extra watery and extra wide and extra like grabby, like a predator would be.
Yeah.
Ryan, what about you?
For me, what I liked were there's just kind of like 3 different things in one here. It was like the weird dialogue scenes, the commentary on the modeling life, and what you guys are all talking about, the casting scene, the photo gold paint scene, the motel scenes.
I hate the gold paint
Those
scene.
were my least favorites. What I really liked were the visual, like this could have been fucking Doctor Strange, the visual effects, you know, and the I don't know what to call them, the music scenes.
Yeah.
Where between every dialogue scene, they go
music
into
video.
some music video. I liked those, and I liked the part that was directed by Eli Roth, which was like the last 20 minutes, where just the bloodbath starts happening. And
Eli Roth has tried to make a Bathory movie for a while.
Interesting.
It's yeah, the thing that I think I don't think it landed as well as they were clearly hoping that it would, but I agree with you. I think the ending in the movie, it's we kind of touched on it earlier, but if you don't know, they kill Elle Fanning and then they eat her, so she literally gets consumed by them.
it like
and then
They eat her
unravels.
alive.
yeah.
It unravels into they kill her, and then they bathe in her blood, and they have like these weird tattoos that you find out, and then they like regurgitate her eyeball at the very end.
Yeah, one girl kills herself after throwing up her eyeball.
Yeah.
And then the other girl eats
She
it.
does
Like,
harakiri? Is that how you say it?
I don't know.
But she's saying, I need to get her out of me.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the best way to do it.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of this. It's this
took a
really
bizarre twist.
It's a very bizarre twist that I
Yeah.
know a lot of my friends who didn't like the movie for the beginning get to the end and like, oh, now I love it. It's so
Yeah.
good. I'm like,
It was almost like they made the first, 4/5 of it a metaphor for this. For these women are monsters and demons, and they
Yeah.
like play that out through emotions and lines, and then at the very end they grow fangs, basically.
Yeah.
which is a really cool idea, and I think they do a good job showing it, but it does not fit for what they wanted.
Not
it
at
to.
all.
Like
Right.
it's so out of left field that it just, for me, it's the final nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
Like I get that it's a cool thing that happened. It's cool that they went that far with the movie and that she eats her eyeball and
Yeah.
it's so gross and crazy, but it doesn't fit the movie I just
No.
watched.
Right.
It's like we brought up Jennifer's Body a couple weeks ago, and that was
Yeah.
a way better portrayal of this kind of like girls are monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of this fits into the male gaze.
Yeah.
Because it fits into the romance sexualization and then the need for these women to please the men. They need to please these men, even though these men view them as objects and just use for their taking. And then when they can't get it, then you're romancing the violence that women put towards each other to reach these goals, which is another thing men do. It's like the romance, the cat fight. Now it's the romancing of them literally eating each other alive.
Yeah, but I mean, I think like all of these ideas, they've all been expressed before, which is not anything new in film. That's kind of like where we are in film these days. But they've all been like, but better. Like I'd rather watch the Star show Flesh and Bone, which basically hits all of these things, but for ballet versus modeling, and it does a really good job. I mean, the show is okay at best. I mean, I don't think it's the greatest show in the
watch
world.
that.
Since
But
you brought up ballet, we could even compare this to Black Swan.
Yeah.
Oh,
lots
well,
of
that's what-
comparisons to Black
Comparable.
Swan.
I,
yeah.
I wrote my comparison on Facebook. It was Black Swan meets Tron meets Logan's Run.
Sure.
Interesting.
Yeah, I could see that.
And like super visual, you can all age out, and then the mental things.
Man, I love Logan's Run.
Because they mention aging out several times.
They do.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like, from all the concepts that are introduced, like I would rather have watched a movie about the girls who live in LA and eat the younger girls in order to stay relevant. Like that's just a more interesting movie to me than like
Dude.
the doe-eyed whatever.
I'd be
and
so
eventually
into
gets-
a modern Wendigo thing like that. That would be amazing.
Yeah,
Right.
that's a more interesting film to me, but it's clearly not the one that we got. And
Right.
and I don't think it's even the one that was necessarily intended. And like, that's my problem with this director over and over again is that I feel like he has this great idea for a film, and when he watches his movies, he sees that idea and it's crystal clear.
Yeah.
But the rest of the world watches it and gets something completely different, which is what happens with art. That's great.
Yeah.
But he's so insistent on just like, since people give him carte blanche to do whatever he wants, he's going to do whatever he wants and he's going to love it. It's this thing where it's positive and negative. He makes movies for him, not for an audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which you can respect.
I can respect it, but at the same time, it's like I feel like his movies have no audience in a way of just like why it feels almost like a waste of time. Like I'm watching somebody else's movie that was never intended for me to see.
Interesting.
But I think that should be fine. There's
I'm
zero
not-
problem that I have with that happening.
I'm not sure if I'm meaning it as a negative. I'm
Yeah.
just saying how his movies make me feel.
Yeah.
And it could be a good thing or a bad thing. Like Drive, it worked out.
Yeah.
And I think we both enjoyed what he made. I still don't think that anyone gets what he wants from his movies. And I
kind
can't
of-
confirm that, but that's just kind
People
of the feeling
definitely
I get.
do, I think.
Yeah.
But
I
not
kinda
us.
seriously want to do a double feature now, watching this movie again and then watching Ravenous right afterwards.
I thought it was sort of interesting to have Keanu Reeves in there because a lot of the aesthetic so matches John Wick.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was sort of an intentional thing. So he's like, oh, I'm doing this color palette. I really want Keanu in here.
Yeah. I thought Keanu was going to do more. I was hoping for more out of that character.
Yeah,
I thought
he
he was
just-
going to
There might
bust
have
open that
been.
door and like save the movie.
Right. I know. Please.
I'm pretty sure I would like to see the scenes that they didn't put in the film.
Yeah.
I'm curious because every film has them. It'd
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
interesting.
I
He's probably in some of them.
yeah, I bet so.
One scene that I don't know what you guys' opinions on because I just don't even have an opinion on it, other than look Shibari, the
Is that what
No,
you're
what-
calling the suicide now?
no.
the when they're going to the quote unquote show in
And
the
there's
club,
the person hanging.
and there's the
upside
person
down.
hanging in bondage ropes. What was that?
Yeah.
Well,
You got
that,
me.
That had to have been. There's got to have been something that he was trying to say with that. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if it's supposed to be the symbolism of the eroticness of being tied up and then floating. Like I don't know.
Right.
Because the whole point of that type of bondage isn't just to restrict. You're supposed to tie a woman in a specific way that when she struggles, it rubs against her erogenous zones. So then she becomes aroused the more she struggles. That's the whole point of that.
Well, that seems
So
like
I
I
don't.
just learned something.
pretty relevant.
I had no idea what that was.
Yeah.
Good to know.
So
That's the best
it was
eye roll
such
I've ever
Google
gotten.
this later.
it was such a strange scene for me to watch. To be like, because this person's not struggling. They're holding a position, and now they're being floated into the air, and these women are watching, and they look really into it. And it's just like I don't understand.
Maybe
I
they're
mean,
getting
the
ready
director
to.
didn't either.
Yeah, that's kind of what it sounds like. Oh, it looks cool when they're tied up like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. There's so again, I do have to say the because I think his brother wrote the music, Julian Winding. Is that how you say his middle name?
I have no idea. I don't know how to pronounce anything but his first name.
Okay. Well, somebody related to him did the music, and it really is, despite being a lot of like synth tones, which can get dull. It doesn't. The soundtrack never gets dull for me. And actually, I have independently been sort of obsessed with the Neon Demon soundtrack. It's very good, like writing fodder, and it's really interesting and spooky. And I think if you listen to that whole thing, it tells. To me, it tells a story sort of independently from the film itself, so that's worth checking out.
I mean, the soundtrack is great, and it's like I'm forgetting his name now. Who's the guy who did Tree of Life and Thin Red Line?
Oh shoot.
Oh man,
The hell is his name?
He just did Prince of Cups, which you refused to see with me.
Knight of Cups.
Knight of Cups, whatever.
Oh, the director?
Yeah,
Is
what's
it
his
Malick? No.
Terrence Malick?
yeah,
Terrence Malick.
Yeah,
Right?
This movie kind of it has that same vibe to me that his movies do, where it's like I've never been a big fan of a lot of his movies. Some of them work, some of them don't. I really like Badlands, but like they're all undeniably just starkly beautiful. Whereas I can turn on
Yeah.
any one of his movies on mute and leave in the background, and it's one of the most beautiful things that can be on my TV. And I feel kind of the same way about this movie, where I might not be a fan of the story, the acting, the script, any of it. But when it comes to the music and just the look of it, I think he knocked it out of the park. I think it's easily one of the best
Absolutely.
looking movies of the year.
yeah, absolutely.
I think everything from the design of the characters, I think to the really kind of dark and gritty scenes, to the really bright and ugly scenes.
Even their makeup. The makeup
their
design was
yeah.
great.
Yeah, the art direction of it and the design of it from top to bottom is flawless. I
Yeah.
just wish that they had written a good story.
Yeah, but
Right.
exactly.
There's-
But that's why I can still say, like, I might be taking a huge dump on this movie throughout this entire episode. I still think people should see it.
Yeah.
For the work that went into this, it's fucking gorgeous.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what makes it
50-50.
art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And
I
that-
hate this, but you need to watch it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's like where we did Warcraft last week. If you don't ever see it, yeah, you're not missing much. I don't think you need to see it.
Yeah.
It's a fun movie. It's very pretty. But if you didn't see it, fine.
Well,
This one I feel like people should see. I think it's actually kind of cool. And if you have Amazon Prime, it's fucking free. So
Yeah.
you might as well turn it on.
And heavily pimped out on their main Prime page.
Yeah.
Oh,
it
yeah.
would be a great movie
I got 2 emails
to
about it.
play at a party without sound.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those type of things.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, just like art, how did this make you feel? Like we've just been looking at it from terms of like or hate, but I felt a lot of complicated emotions watching this movie.
I didn't, and I think that's why I didn't like it so much. Because like when I stand up saying I hate it, like which is easily one of the biggest reactions I've had from a movie in a long time, which says something about it. It's I hate it because it was doing nothing for me. And I'm watching all these people have these big emotions and these big scenes and these lots of symbolism, and I feel fucking nothing.
Yeah.
All I'm doing is like it's really well shot. And maybe that just means I'm not the audience, which is very possible, or maybe I'm too dumb to understand it, which is also possible. I did just watch Jackass 3. But I'm watching it going, I don't care.
It's modern art in the way that like you can, like when people go to a modern art exhibit and they will see a painting that has squares and circles on it. And then there'll be somebody else that does the same thing. The one person will be doing the painting in a study of color tones and how things react to you sensory, where you'll just have a slight shift in colors and then you'll have a big circle in the middle and then it can express some sort of emotion from you that's very instinctual. And then you'll do another person and then you'll have somebody else be like, okay, I can do that at home.
Right.
And then you'll have a thing with a circle on it and then you look at it and you feel nothing. You just see a circle. Like that's how this movie is to me. Like it's someone who wanted to make this a high art. I wanted to express all these things, and then somehow it just fell flat.
So both of you felt nothing from this.
Well, I felt plenty of things, but it was mostly frustration.
Yeah.
I got a lot of frustration.
Interesting.
I know what you're wanting to do. It's not working for me.
It worked on me. I felt like kind of sad and dead inside and empty during the dialogue scenes, during the scenes of just her being exploited, and we, as the audience, know that's what's going on. And like uncomfortable that she's telling us she's 16 this whole time, and they're like getting her naked and stuff, and then we would cut to the scenes of like the mind trips and her loving herself so much and getting like falling more and more into that feeling of the superiority that she feels like, and then the end I felt like horror glee. So I got a range of emotions through this,
Which is great.
Yeah.
I'm glad someone did, because I mean, and I have a lot of like I said, I need to make that clear. I know a lot of people who think this is not only good but one of the best of the year.
I would never say that, but it worked on me.
Yeah, it's just I don't know what it was. It's like watching like say the gold paint scene. Like that's like a really good one to bring up of like, all right, so here is a guy who is going to basically molest this girl. Like, and he knows it. He's like kicks everybody out of the room, strips her down naked, and then hand paints her body in gold.
Right.
And she says she's 19, but anyone who has even an ounce of intelligence goes, okay. I mean, if you're buying into the world of the film, clearly Elle Fanning's older than that.
It
But
worked for Tracy Lords for a while.
I mean, she was.
Sure.
Elle Fanning was, I think, 17. When
was
they
she
shot
17?
this, yeah.
Oh, I thought she was 18.
I actually kind of looked this up because I thought to myself when they were showing it, I'm like, oh, it's an interesting choice that for a movie that exploits women so much, once she takes her clothes off in front of the photographer, they only show her from the neck up. And then I was like, wait, is that because they couldn't legally show her naked because she wasn't 18 yet?
I think
okay.
she was 17.
And I think that was the case.
Okay.
Yeah.
So either way, so that scene, it plays out in this way of like, oh God, I feel like I should, as an audience member, I feel like I should be sitting there like nervous for her.
Yeah.
Like concerned of what's about to happen. Like, oh no, don't let everybody leave.
Yeah.
No, Jenna Malone wants to stay. Why aren't you letting her stay?
Yeah.
And all I feel is like, okay. And I don't know what it was about the movie, but I'm just sitting there just watching it happen, just going, all right, well, she's going to be fine because I'm only 20 minutes into the movie and I know this isn't the end.
Yeah.
Which I didn't understand Jenna Malone's feelings. Cause
I never understand her
after
feelings. That's why I hate her as an actress.
After
She's
all
dead
ate
inside,
her,
too.
you see her watering the plants with shirtless, and she looks dejected, like she's not so happy with what she just did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then later on, you see her la-di-da, kind of like reading a book over what you're assuming is her grave.
Yeah.
And she just looks happy, like everything's cool and content. I'm like, well,
I think maybe that's a metaphor for the way that models feel when they treat each other that way. I don't know.
But
I don't-
she's,
But she's a makeup
model.
artist.
Yeah, she's a makeup artist.
Well, when a pretty girl meets another pretty girl and tries to eat her alive for her own personal gain, she feels bad for a second afterwards.
She's just got that thing.
see, yeah, and it's just such a male's idea of how women treat each other.
That's there was I think the crowning achievement of that flaw in the movie is the make out in the shower.
Right. In the blood.
Yeah.
Because Jenna Malone is having the male gaze. She's giving the male gaze to them in the shower.
And it's like, okay, like the one, like I'm already not buying into this movie. I buy in even less at them making out with each other in the shower. I don't know what it is about
they
it.
weren't actually making out. They were just rubbing each other hard. They were rubbing themselves hard while interlocking their legs, which
Yeah.
symbolizes lesbian sex without actually showing it.
Yeah. Either way, like the movie just for me it just completely falls apart. And it's barely held together in the beginning anyways, but then by the time I get there, it's just not for me.
Yeah, I sort of feel like if you kind of separated it out and like made an art installation out of it or some sort of like experience thing out of it, it would be cool. But it was by virtue of like it trying to have an actual plot that it kind of deteriorated for me.
Right.
But I do think that there were a lot of things. I mean, I saw this in a theater. And I laughed out loud a bunch of times, which didn't make people happy. Nearby.
Well, that's part of what I liked. I liked laughing at the dumb stuff. I thought that was part of it.
I don't know if
I don't think it's part of
laughed.
it.
I'm trying to think of when I would have laughed.
What made you laugh?
I don't want to be like them. They want to be me.
Yeah, that's cool. I think that line right there, that launches me into the major thing that I didn't mention that I really want to hit on this movie. I think the major problem with it, beyond everything else I've said, is that if you're not getting the symbolism, wait 5 minutes, they're going to tell you what it meant.
Right.
And it's like, okay, it's like how many times did we have to be told, like just point blank, she's the most beautiful girl in the world. It's like,
Right.
you could have just done that. You're clearly obsessed with symbolism. Just show us. Stop
Right.
telling us.
Oh, and
And then that line just fucking nails it. Like, okay, we get it. We
Alright.
get it.
Yeah,
Alright.
if I made a fan cut of this without any dialogue, it would have been amazing.
I totally caught on
Yeah.
to Jenna Malone killing her like almost immediately because
Yeah.
You said it like 20 times. Don't go with her. She's going to kill you. She's going to kill you. She's going to kill you.
because like the opening scene of them meeting each other, she's asking the cliche terms of I'm going to kill you. Oh, how old are you?
Right.
Oh, where are you staying? Do you have any family? Is
Right.
anyone with you? Are you alone?
Right.
Like she was asking all of the questions that if anyone asks you those in like succession, they're planning on killing you.
How about that scene right after she's been rejected or whatever, where she takes the lipstick that she put on her in the beginning and draws a face with dead eyes in the mirror?
I was hoping she was actually performing like a summoning ritual there, and the
Yeah.
demon was gonna like float
I
out.
know
of
you
the...
wanted a real demon.
I did so bad.
She did give birth to a blood demon, kind of like in Game of Thrones.
Right.
For
I
some
saw
reason.
a pool of blood. I didn't
That
see a
was
demon.
supposed to be a demon? I
That's
totally
what I'm
missed that.
assuming.
I thought.
I don't know. It was so like Game of Thronesy for a moment.
I was
there.
kind of impressed with where they hid the hose.
Yeah. I mean, it took me a minute to realize she wasn't peeing. I thought she was just peeing. I was like, I don't know why we need to see this now. Like, it's blood. I'm like, oh, I don't know why we need to see this now. Fuck.
I did also think that the scene after the casting, I guess that whole casting section is actually pretty okay.
I like that scene. It's a very solid sequence.
The bathroom scene where she tries to just like eat her blood out of her hand. Do you know what I'm talking
Yep.
about?
Oh,
Yeah.
that movie got so promising in that moment. I'm like, oh, they're vampires. This is gonna be
Right.
great.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, cool, horror movie. No.
Nope.
Yeah. But again, stunning. If you're
Yeah.
looking for just some like cinematography to like chew
Yeah.
on.
Cinematography,
this is
art
like-
direction,
oh, yeah.
all of it, man. Fucking great.
I know.
But no anything
More-
for me who's obsessed with like even story in video games. Like
Right.
I show up for story.
Yeah.
More
Oof, not in this
symbolism
one.
was in her when she goes to Jenna Malone's building. In her bedroom is a giant cement sculpture of an angel that doesn't make any sense in a bedroom,
Right.
but it's there.
Don't forget all the huge predatory
And-
cats.
Yeah, and then when Jenna Malone leaves,
Right.
there's a giant taxidermied leopard behind her, and then later after she's eaten her, there's a taxidermied wolf behind her, and I'm like,
So
oh.
we got that. She put the cat in her room. Is that what you're supposed to get out of that?
I think so,
I don't
yeah.
No, I think that was supposed to be like a warning to her, like they're coming to get you.
That's what I mean. Like
Right.
Jenna Malone put the cat in her room, though.
No, I don't think anyone put the cat
Oh.
in there. That's still just supposed to be the
more
LA's
symbolism.
dangerous.
Yeah,
And
I
she
also
still
didn't
had her-
understand why he was so insistent that she would have to pay for it. Like,
Right?
Because he's a
like-
dick.
Fell
Yeah,
apart.
he's a jerk.
This is, if you haven't seen the movie, I'm talking about the point where a wildcat gets out of the zoo and into her apartment room thing, right?
It's supposed
Was
to be
it-
out of the zoo. I
I
thought it was just supposed to be a
some mountain
Oh,
wild.
the mountain
Yeah,
lion.
Yeah.
Okay.
because we have those in LA and they eat people sometimes.
All right.
You
Well,
pretty much have to go to them though. They very
Yeah.
rarely come to us,
Yeah.
especially into our fucking motel rooms.
right.
But yeah, it breaks into her room, and Keanu Reeves is like, "You have to pay for this." What?
How did the mountain lion like break her lock? That's what I want to know.
He
Well,
went through
she
the-
left
she
the
let the
screen
screen
door
door
open.
But I'm saying she opened the door just fine. It was like, oh shit, a mountain lion closed the door, and then Keanu Reeves came back. Keys don't work. Kick it down.
Right.
Oh, that's a good point.
right.
Mountain Lion's
know.
like, "Wow!"
Yeah. Lock it harder, mountain lion. He
Go
puts
away! I'm sleeping.
How did he put the chain on the door that they couldn't open it anymore?
Yeah.
It's a crafty mountain lion.
Fucking crap.
I do like how, for like a good portion of the film, she has her guard up, where she's looking for dangers, like how she knows not to go in her room,
Yeah.
because she senses there's something inside of it. But then once she's totally full of herself at the end, and then she sees the one girl in the building, she's just like, "What? Is there a party?"
Right.
And then she gets punched in the face.
I thought that was actually intentional. I believe.
But she no longer had her
falls
guard up
in-
because she
yep.
thought she was
She thought it was
amazing.
untouchable. Yeah.
Yeah. And then she gets killed.
Yeah.
All the way up
which
to the
doesn't
eating.
t-
I like the
message
confrontation
of this
scene. That was
movie
cool.
is stay humble.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. That's
It
what I got out
also
of it.
feels like time-wise that it just takes place over the course of a couple of days.
It did,
Yeah,
right?
totally. I
Yeah.
thought I got 2 weeks.
Right.
Brian was complaining that, like, if she's getting all these great jobs, why is she still staying in the motel? I'm like, because she hasn't actually gotten the checks yet.
It clearly was. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
I've got nothing for that. I really just, both the movies that we did in our double feature, there's a lot of just in and out of consciousness of like, my God, I hate these. But okay.
But all right, here we go.
And I was so hopped up on cold medicine and drinking tea after tea after tea, so caffeine. I was fully awake for all of them.
I'm sorry. Is there anything else we need to hit on this thing before we move into quotes?
It was
I don't
good.
think
It was
so.
bad.
It was a huge mix of both. The making of was very good. Well, not all of it, but the parts are great. The sum is not. But let's move on to quotes. Anybody want to go first in
I
this
have
highly
mine.
quotable film?
I have mine.
It is highly quotable.
Because
Yeah,
all
I
they
like
talk
it
is
a
quotes,
lot.
not in conversation.
Right.
I liked it when Gigi said, "He calls me the bionic woman." And Jesse replied with, "Is that a compliment?"
That was good.
That was a good one.
Yeah. That actually felt organic. Like, that was an actual organic moment in this movie.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll go with mine that I don't remember the context of at all, so the quote makes absolutely no sense, but that's how I feel about this movie. Who wants sour milk when you can get fresh meat?
My favorite is when you realize that Elle Fanning has totally fallen into the black cesspool. When she's having that conversation toward the end, and Sarah asks her, "What does it feel like to walk into a room and it's like the middle of winter and you're the sun?" And she says, "It's everything."
Oh God. Oh God.
I'm like, okay, she's gonna die.
Maggie is physically cringing at that.
I can't even. Ugh. Yeah, I already kind of said it while we were talking about it, which was, I don't want to be like them. They want to be like me.
That was another really good one. Yeah.
And there's also beauty isn't everything. It's the only thing.
So good.
That was my backup quote.
yeah.
That was me shooting myself in the head.
It's a great message for every little girl.
Message.
Yeah.
If a little girl is watching this movie for a message, she got the wrong message a long time ago.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
I would love to actually see the face of a 5-year-old that had to sit through this and
Oh
just
no! You should have seen my face. It was good enough.
My other favorite thing that I got from this movie was when Ryan texted me after he finished it, "What just happened?" And I got to reply with, "The demon neon."
Yeah. And I responded, "You better explain this movie to me tomorrow. I don't get it."
Yeah.
I think ultimately you probably ended up liking it more than I did. Though.
I did, yeah.
it does get
'Cause
better.
I'm just
the more
along
you-
for the visual
when
ride.
you talk about it.
Oh, man, the
it
visual
starts
ride
to
is so
feel
good.
better.
Yeah.
If it-
And it's so on point for like what currently is like visually trendy. Like
Oh, yeah.
it plays right into everything that's popular right now. So it'll make for a good timepiece for what 2016 looked like.
Like 10 years
before
from now.
the
yeah.
world burned down. Sorry.
Before 11/9,
Right.
2016.
Oh, goodness.
Okay, so time for a review system. This one might be a little tough. It's going to be mostly based on your own opinion. So here we go. Movies with style over substance.
Oh.
I can go first.
Go first.
Tree of Life.
Hey.
I've
haven't.
mentioned many times on this podcast how much I fucking hate
Brian
The Tree
and
of
I
Life.
disagree on this art piece.
Yeah, I think it's just a mess of a movie. I think there was a great story in there somewhere, and then it just got brutalized on the cutting room floor and turned into a piece of shit.
And I think it's stunning.
Which it is, and that's why I put it on here, because I never want to watch this movie again. I have no interest in it. I think the dialogue is horrible, and I think it's hard to even stomach as a film one of the best shot films of all time. Like, if I think of just cinematography in general, I put it up there with like Citizen Kane. Like, oh my God, is this movie beautiful?
Oh, I got mine.
But I will never want to watch it again.
Yeah. I've got one too, but you go.
Van Helsing.
Oh my God.
Wow.
That movie is a joy when you look at it, just for the love letter to classic horror films, throwing in every monster and then just the corsets, the like sweeping painted backgrounds with the gloomy clouds and everything and the big castles. It's so gorgeous. The story is terrible.
Yeah.
It's just awful. Again, watch it without the sound on. It's great. And then Hugh Jackman turns into a wolf. It's great. But
Oh man, I forgot about that plot point.
yeah, just don't pay attention to the story because it's super convoluted.
That's a rough movie.
I got two. Marie Antoinette
Okay.
and Across the Universe.
Both solid choices.
Yep.
Beautiful, both of them. What the fuck? Why? Just make music videos out of them.
Yeah.
Just chop them up, put them out as music videos.
Kind of what I feel about Sofia Coppola most of the time.
I know, yeah. It's a bummer to me that she's like, I mean, Catherine Bigelow's badass, but like those are the two female directors that everybody can name. And like, Sophia, you're a G. I like you, but like, come on, make a movie with a story.
I actively hate the Virgin Suicides.
Yeah, I can't do that either.
I'm going to go with a bold one. Gravity.
Ooh.
It alternated between making me feel really lonely and feel really pretty about looking at the screen. Not making me feel pretty, sorry. Making me feel like this what's going on the screen is pretty.
I did have quite a few moments in that movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did too. But my favorite thing about Gravity is it's now made every movie in space that ever happens now. At some point, I want Sandra Bullock to fly by in the background going, no, 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 no. Like every movie set in space could benefit from
That's
that.
confirmed for Rogue One, I think.
No, I just want the meme of Arnold Schwarzenegger's face.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. There's good things in Gravity.
Yeah,
Just
good
not
things
the
in
movie
idea.
Gravity.
Yeah.
All right, so with that, I'm going to bring today's episode to a close.
Cool.
We can do a final plug section. Maggie, what should people be looking out for you?
You can go to vein360.com if you'd like to check out stuff about the 360 short, and there's a trailer there for the series. Also follow me at Maggie Levin on Twitter. Got a lot of stuff coming out. And if you'd like a really depressing thing to go watch, I directed 40 Register to Vote PSAs for YouTube Multicultural this year. 40 of them.
Well, what the
Fat
fuck
lot
happened?
of good they did. I don't know. I think a thing that we learned right now is that millennials don't want to vote if they don't dig the candidate, so they just didn't vote. Anyway.
I think
It's a harsh
everybody
lesson,
who
but-
voted didn't dig the candidate either.
I know.
Yeah.
Nobody liked anybody.
No.
There's consequences, people.
Yeah.
There's consequences.
Find us on Facebook, After the Hype, Twitter, ATH_podcast, everywhere else, ATH Podcast. Email us, athpodcast@gmail.com. Rate and review us on iTunes. Go to our website, which may or may not be up right now, athpod.com. Anything else from you guys?
What's on next week, Brian?
Next week is our Battle of December. Everybody's excited. It's going to be Snowed In Battle. That is movies that take place or have an avalanche.
I thought you were going to say
Cool.
about Russian expats.
So if a movie has an avalanche or takes place during an avalanche or at any point people go, there's so
God.
much snow.
I didn't
That
realize
can be
there
in our
had to be
battle.
an avalanche.
I said I just made the other caveat of so much snow.
So
it can be in the battle.
The Shining or Out Cold? Which one am I going to pick?
Both of them work.
Can I talk about Icebreaker?
You can talk about Icebreaker. There's so many movies to pick
I
from.
love it.
Anyone else who knows what I'm talking about, kudos.
And then we're doing something awesome for Christmas this year. I'm really excited.
We
about it.
are. I'm not sure if I should spoil it yet, though. I'm very excited about this one.
All right, let's keep it secret.
We'll keep it secret. Keep it safe.
Oh, I had that on my box. I don't know if anyone noticed.
Thanks again very much, Maggie, for coming out.
Thank you for having me. This was great, guys.
This was a fun one to talk about.
Yeah.
Not a fun one to watch.
Does anyone want their makeup to get done for the photo?
Nope. All right. Bye.
Bye.
You think fashion's your friend, my friend, fashion is danger. Moscow, Berlin, Paris, London, Tokyo, Wellington, Rome, Geneva, New York City. New York City.